To this now, it's been a long wait for student athletes, but the World University Games are finally here. Postponed in 2021 due to the COVID pandemic, the Games will take place in Chengdu, China from July 28th to the 8th of August. South Africa's young athletes have enjoyed much success at this event over the years. The latest squad was confirmed yesterday, and University Sport SA CEO Marissa Langeni joins us now from Johannesburg to talk about the Games. Marissa, thank you so much for your time. I guess the first question is, how exactly have players been doing just in this very long absence of the University Games?
Good evening, Cloney. Yes, it's been a fantastic time for our student athletes. I think for them, just the belief that the Games will finally take place has been fantastic motivation in their preparation and the build-up to being selected for Team South Africa. From the beginning of this year, there's been a number of national camps across the board for the different sporting codes that will be traveling. And I think now that we've confirmed that the Games are definitely going ahead, the athletes are elated, and especially those athletes who this might well be their last possible opportunity as students to compete at these Games.
Of course, you talk about the athletes that might have their last opportunity. I guess because of the delay, you're also having students that 2 years ago would have still been in high school and now they get to take part in these Games. Just how are you managing kind of the more experienced athletes compared to those that are just coming in at the moment?
It has been a juggling, but we've really relied on the sport codes themselves and under the supervision of their national federations to have a good mix of the youth, those that are just coming in, as well as those that are probably at the end of their student cycle. So national federations have really assisted us in making sure that we can field a team which is strong enough to compete at these Games, and a team where perhaps one new international exposure for the young ones would be a benefit in building them for the likes of world champs come next year, as well as the Paris 2024 Games. So it has been a juggling act on our side, but we think we've got a very good mix.
Talking about that mix, I think it's about 140, 141 students, and it is over 12 sporting codes. We love medals, of course, in South African sport. Just in terms of that performance, what are you expecting? Are there any expectations from these young students?
There definitely are expectations. I think historically South Africa has always been part of the medal table from the World University Games. And in this instance, we expect nothing less and nothing different. We've said to the team delegation, please do not come back with less than 18 medals. That was the last medal tally we had from Napoli. And we anticipate that we will at least match that tally, if not do better.
I remember that I think Tatiana Schoonmaker was the flag bearer for Napoli 2019. Michaela Witbooi is now the flag bearer for this year. She was, of course, a gold medalist at the Commonwealth Games last year. Just what have they had to say just about that transition from being maybe junior youth athletes to kind of jumping on to being senior athletes as well and making that transition?
It's been a wonderful discussion with especially Michaela, who when she speaks herself says, I've got a Commonwealth Games medal, I've been to the Olympics, but what I still do not have is a World University Games experience. And leaning on somebody like Tatiana, who's always valued her experience at the World University Games, who always makes sure she talks about it and the experience that it gave her as an athlete, a junior athlete that was coming out of national ranks and preparing for major world global events, and what the University Games meant to her. So Michaela is so excited. She cannot wait to lead South Africa at the opening ceremony. And I think coming from a sport like judo, which maybe is not as profiled, this is an extra feather in her cap.
Maybe final question, just in terms of, again, managing that transition. For the federations themselves, how challenging is it to make sure that athletes don't kind of get lost after junior level, after youth level, and that they can make that transition to senior level? And what are the challenges, I guess, that the athletes do face in making that jump?
I think World University Games, as well as university sport in general, is well placed to capture young junior athletes that are coming just out of school, looking for an opportunity to first obviously study towards their vocation, but to remain student athletes. And the university space has always been there to support this dual career of students and athletes. So for us, working with the federations, and with the federations knowing that they have comforts in their athletes who are at universities, knowing that they have these opportunities to compete, they have world-class facilities at their disposal, as well as world-class coaches. I think we've got a very good mix in South Africa, and we've been very successful up until this point in feeding the national teams.
Right, thank you, Marissa. We will leave it there. The CEO of University Sport SA saying they expect nothing less than 18 medals from the team that is going to the World University Games that will be held in Chengdu, China, a month from today on the 28th of July until the 10th of August. That is your sport for the moment.